Welcome to General Mathematics tutorial. In today's lesson, we'll talk about compound interest, one of the most useful math concepts when it comes to saving and investing money. So, if you want to learn how your money can grow over time, keep watching. So, let's have first difference between simple interest and compound. Interest is the price you pay to borrow money or the cost you charge to lend money. In Tagalog, ito yung tubo. Pag nagpautang ka, may tubo. At pag nangutang ka, may tubo. And that tubo is the interest. Interest can be computed as simple interest or compound interest. So, this is our formula for the compound interest. We have A equals P multiplied by quantity 1 plus R over N, quantity raised to nth power. So, letter A will be the final amount. Ito yung final amount and which is the principal plus the compound interest. So, yun yung binabayaran ng kliyente, yung interest sa compound. So, letter P will be the puhunan. Yung R is the rate that is converted into the decimal number. And N is number of times the interest is compounded per year. So, depende yon. So, pag sinabi natin quarterly, sa loob ng isang taon may 4 na quarter. So, the interest is compounded every year. Pag sinabing annual, once lang. So, the interest charged annually. So, therefore, I will be compounded once every year. Pag sinabi namang monthly, so 12 times a year and compounded interest na will be charged 12 times a year. And we have T. It is time period in years. So again, the formula is A equals P multiplied by the quantity 1 plus R over N, quantity raised to the nth power. So example, let's try how to identify or to determine the number of times the interest is compounded in a year. So that is our variable letter N. So, kapag annually, N will be equals to 1. So, kung taon-taon tumutubo, it will be compounded once only every year. Kapag semi-annually naman, ang tanong, how many semi-annual are there in 1 year? So, our letter N is equals to 2. So, kapag quarterly naman, how many quarter are there in year quarter? So, how many quarter ang meron sa isang taon? Kaya nga tinawag na quarter kasi 4. So, therefore, will be 4 quarter. Ang monthly, how many months do we have in 1 year? So, therefore, that is equals to 12. So, N is equals to 12. The letter N will depend upon the rate that is compounded annually or compounded in a year. Okay, example number 1 for calculating the compound interest. So we have P, the principal, that is 50,000 pesos. Letter T is equal to 2 years. For letter R is 5% quarterly. Then letter N is equal to blank letter. And A is equal to blank. Then C ay pertains a compound interest that will be equal to blank. And again, here is the formula. So, kailangan natin gawin, i-convert muna natin ng 5%, gawin natin decimal, so that is 0.05. We will just move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So, 0.05 and then identify natin yung letter N natin quarterly. So, ang tanong, how many quarter are there in 1 year? So, N is equals to 4. And substitute tayo ng value. So, P is 50,000. So, ang principal is 50,000. Ang R naman is 0.5. Letter N is 4. Again, letter N is 4. Then, letter T is 2. So, kailangan dito is calculator. Dapat meron tayong exponent sa calculator. So, gagamit tayo ng calculator using PEMDAS. Parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So, kailangan Unahin natin yung nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, sa loob ng parenthesis, meron tayong plus, divide. So, unahin natin yung divide. So, 0.05 divided by 4 equals plus 1 equals the quantity rates 4 times 2 is equals to 8. 1 plus 0.0125 equals 1.0125. Then 1.0125 raised to 8 equals about 1.1045. Now multiply 50,000 by 1.1045. The answer is 55,224.31 pesos. So the total amount after 2 years is 52,224.31 pesos. And find the compound interest. To find the compound interest, subtract the original amount from the total. So 55,224.31 minus 50,000 is equals to 5,224.31 pesos. For example 2, ito yung mga given. Principal or starting amount is equals to 30,000 pesos. Time is 1.5 years. Rate is equals to 2% compounded monthly. Since monthly siya, ibig sabihin, interest is added 12 times a year. So, N is equals to 12. Let's list down the value clearly. P is equals to 30. R is equal to 2% or 0.02. And T is equals to 1.5 years. And our N is equals to 12. And the formula, we will use the same formula for compound interest, where A is the total amount after interest, P is the principal, R is the annual interest rate in decimal, N is how many times the interest is added in 1 year, T is the time in years. So ito yung formula na gagamitin natin to find the total amount. Step 3, substitute the values now. Let's plug in the given values. A is equals to 30,000 times 1 plus 0.02 divide 12 raised to 12 times 1.5. Let's solve step by step. 0.02 divided by 12 equals 0.0016667. So our formula becomes A is equals to 30,000 times 1 plus 0.0016667 raised to 18. Kinuha natin yung 18 kasi 12 times 1.5 equals 18. Meaning, may 18 compounding periods in total. And solving step by step, let's add inside the parentheses first. 1 plus 0.0016667 equals 1.0016667. Now, raise that the power of 18, 1.0016667 raised to 18 is equals to 1.030429. Then, multiply that by the principal, 30,000 times 1.030429 is equals to 30,912.86 pesos. So, after 1.5 years, the total amount will be 30,912.86 pesos. Finding the compound interest. To find the compound interest, we subtract the principal from the total amount. Compound interest is A equals P. So, 30,912.86 minus 30,000 is equals to 912.86 pesos. Ibig sabihin, ang compound interest na kinita mo in 1.5 years ay 912 pesos and 86 centavos. So, what does this mean? Kung nag-invest ka ng 30,000 pesos sa loob ng 1.5 years at may 2% monthly interest rate, ang total money mo after that time is 30,912.86 pesos. Ang nadagdag o kinita mo dahil sa interest ay 912.86 pesos. So, let's summarize. Principal is equals to 30,000 pesos. Rate is equals to 12% monthly or 0.02. Time is equals to 1.5 years. N is equals to 12. Total amount is equals to 30,912.86 pesos. Compounded interest is equals to 912.86 pesos. This time, we will solve example 3, where the interest is compounded semi-annually. The problem is, an investment earns 8% compounded semi-annually. Find the value of an initial investment of 45,000 pesos after 6 years. So, ang goal natin is hahanapin kung magkano na ang total amount ng investment after 6 years kapag may 8% interest na semi-annual. So, let's list down all the given values. P is equals to 45,000 pesos. This is the principal or starting amount. R is equals to 8% or 0.08 the annual interest rate. T is equal to 6 the time period. Since it's compounded semi-annually, ibig sabihin 2 beses kada taon ang pag-compute ng interest. So, N is equals to 2. We'll use the same formula for compound interest, and where A is equals to total amount after interest, B is equals to principal or starting amount, R is equals to annual rate in decimal form, N is equals how many times the interest is added in 1 year, T is equals to time in years. Now, let's substitute the given values into the formula. A is equals to 45,000 times 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2 raised to 2 times 6. And 0.08 divided by 2 is equal to 0.04. So we have A is equals to 45,000 times 1 plus 0.04 raised to 12. Kinuha natin ang 12 kasi 2 times 6 is equals to 12. Meaning, may 12 compounding periods in total. 1 plus 0.04 is equals to 1.04. So we now have A is equals to 45,000 times 1.04 raised to 12. Now, let's compute 1.04 raised to 12, which is around 1.600921. Then multiply it by 45,000. 45,000 times 1.600921 is equals to 72,046.45 pesos. So, after 6 years, the total amount will be 72,046.45 pesos. Ibig sabihin, kung nag-invest ka ng 45,000 pesos at may 8% interest rate compounded semi-annually, after 6 years, lalaki na ito sa 72,046.45 pesos. Kung difference ng total at ng principal ay compound interest na kinita mo. So, kung gusto mong malaman ang kinita mo, 72,046.45 minus 45,000 is equals to 27,046.45 pesos. Ito ang compounded interest. Ang tubo ng pera mo sa loob ng 6 years dahil sa compounding. Let's summarize the solution. Principal is equals to 45,000 pesos. Rate is equals to 8% or 0.08. Time is equals to 6 years. Compound semi-annually. So, N is equals to 2. Total amount or A is equals to 72,046.45 pesos. Compound interest or CI is equals to 27,046.45 pesos. So your investment grows from 45,000 to 72,046.45 pesos in 6 years. At dito na po nagtatapos ang aking tutorial video about sa compound interest. Thank you po sa panonood at pakikinig. Sana po ay may natutunan kayo about compound interest. Yun lang po. Have a nice day.